out scrambling for a bill, panhandling for a meal. Street savages with the steel, out canvassing for a kill. 18 years old, with no fears or goals. Switch gears, I'm cold, I'm sincere and bold. Got stabbed, now I'm really tripping. Ask God, will he really listen? Started shaking, now I'm really twitching, bleeding. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's man Royalty. We're here today, and we're back with another podcast episode. I have two special guests again from the Social Psycho podcast, Boonie and Brent. How y'all doing today?
Doing fine.
Doing lovely, man. Appreciate you for having us back on, man. It's always a blessing to be with you, man.
I appreciate y'all. I know y'all the family. Y'all the fam for real. So,
appreciate it. Same thing.
So I'd like to officially welcome y'all to another episode of the Raw Educated Analysis of Life podcast. Today we're going to be talking about, is it okay for a man to be vulnerable in today's society? And what sparked this for me was I saw this post, and it was just like a string of things on Twitter where it was just like, what is okay for a man to do? If your man drink lemonade, girl, that there's something wrong with him. If he order an appetizer, girl, something wrong with him. If he get a manicure, something wrong. Like, it was just, the list seemed endless of things that people were just adding stuff. And I was questioning, like, is this true? Do they really think this way? Or is this like satire?
Jokes, like just being I think it's a little of both.
So I started to think, like, how do we talk about this? Because I think people want to view manhood from one lens, but the question is, what is manhood? I've heard you say before, Booney, that you want a man that has a green thumb. You like to be able to use his hands and plant and stuff.
That's a thing. That's a thing where I'm from. Like, I've always grown up with men who had gardens, or not just men, but like my family, just people in general. So it ain't necessarily a requirement, but like, I'm gonna do it. So you got to be at least interested in, like, you know.
Where do you guys think that this mindset comes from, that these things are considered manly and these things are considered feminine?
In my personal opinion, I think it comes from a lack of fathers not being around or disappearing and stuff, because I noticed that some girls and stuff like that start to create this idea of what
Those
they
women be having their fathers, because I know people who think like that who had fathers.
Yeah, but I mean, let me finish my thought. God, leave me.
Always his go-to.
But you ain't let me finish my thought, though.
Go ahead, I ain't saying nothing.
But anyway, for some of them and stuff like that, I feel as if, like, yeah, it can be accumulation of that, but also like what Booney said, like sometimes and stuff like that, people just want to be funny and say crazy, idiotic things online. But a lot of times, I notice that it does kind of like play in part, because like what you were saying about what they see, what you saw online. I feel like sometimes stuff that it could be true. It like you like, who doesn't order appetizer? It's like the weirdest things people want to nitpick at. They're like, who doesn't order appetizer? Like, it was almost like when we picked, like when Booney sent that video in the group chat, and the girl was going off and stuff like that about how these masculine shows are. And I was like, and I made the comment, yeah, you don't wash your ass, you gay. You wash your ass, you gay. Like, it's weird. But, it is what it is.
What about you, Bunny? Where do you think that thought process comes from?
I think it stems from, history too. But it just gets more ridiculous as time goes on. Like, at first, it's just men are supposed to do certain things, like, build, dump trash, like keep the house up or whatever, or the outside of the house up, go to work, stuff, just those simple things or whatever. And I kind of feel like, because I feel like it shows not only in like the little stuff like that, but also in relationships. Like, some men do feel like that's all they're supposed to do, and that's all they do in relationships. Some women do think that that's all they're supposed to do as well. Like, but I feel like when it comes to social media, it does have a lot to do with people just being funny, but at the same time, they really be thinking that. Like, I be seeing girls say ridiculous stuff. I be seeing people just saying ridiculous stuff about what what men are supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. And if he did this, then like, why are you eating appetizers? Why are you? I can't. It just don't even sound right coming out my mouth. Why wouldn't he eat appetizers? Why wouldn't he eat a salad?
Right.
Why wouldn't he get his nails and toes done? Like, do y'all want men just to not care about themselves?
Like, I think it's like a point like self-care is not
It's
manly now.
right. That's weird. Like, do y'all want men to just not care? And then you have on the other end some women saying that they want a man who do these things, and y'all confused. Stop listening to whatever people saying and do what y'all do.
That's
Like,
that's what it ultimately boils down to, is letting people do what they do. However they want to feel. I think it started like way back before we were born,
yeah.
which is what is manly and what's feminine. But I think social media has blown it up and made it way, way worse, because then they want to think, well, my dad did this, so this is the template of a man. And it's just like, but there's so many other things that people can do. Like I saw a post about and it was a literal argument in the comments, because it said, if my son wanted to get one of those kitchen sets as a baby, like a little kid, and then people were arguing, you should buy your son that. You need to teach him that that's not where he's supposed to be.
You're not
But
supposed to know how to cook.
but
Right.
see, like I remember that post, and that was like to me like the dumbest shit ever. Like he's supposed to know homemaking skills. Like when you're an adult and you have to take care of yourself and cook, like what are you supposed to do?
They used
Like
to have that class in school for
like home
Man,
ec.
both men and with home ec. They used to have that. Do they not
Yeah.
have that no more?
I don't think
No,
so. I don't
I
think it's
don't
even
think
an option anymore.
That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy.
That they
no,
even
I take that back. There was a home ec class. There was a home ec class at the high school that I was at, but they didn't have one at a high school that I did my student teaching at. They didn't have one. They were looking for one, but it's like a dying art form.
They need to
So
come back. I learned a lot of stuff in home ec.
right.
uh,
I think it's
And my
important.
brother did too. I don't think my youngest brothers had home ec now that I think about it. I
It's
don't think they
crazy
had.
to think back about high school, how things have changed now from even
Yeah.
when we were in school. Like things have drastically changed, and it's like some things I understand, but come on now, just basic skills.
Yeah, that's so, but like my mama definitely, I can't even say she taught us how to cook and stuff like that. Like we just, I don't know, like we just kind of like it was normal for us to just, it was just things that we knew. She didn't never have to come here, let me show you how to do this, or come here, let me show you how to do that. We just kind of did. When we got old enough and she would let us do stuff, we would just do it.
like my mom and dad basically was like, ain't no woman want no man who can't cook and clean. So, they kind of took us, they kind of took us under that premise, and me and my brother and stuff like that. Like we really cook and clean. Like truth be told, I don't even like when a woman is at my spot in the kitchen. Like move out the way, you.
I
Like
don't know any men who can't cook and clean around here like that.
I think
you
it's
know,
it's, it's more common in the South.
Yeah, I feel like in the South, the gender roles are not really that bad. Well, most of them aren't because like even the thing when it comes to like dating and like who pays for this and stuff like that, we never really have those conversations in the South
no,
because we just kind of like do whatever. Like we just go out, we fall into whatever it is. Like I've never had to be like I've never been around a guy who didn't pay. Did I expect it? No, because my mama always taught me if you going on a date, take your money so you just in case that person can't pay, you can pay. So like
or
it
if something
just
happens.
yeah, so it's just like I feel like around here, it just never been like a issue. Maybe now, I don't know. But it's not really an issue. We just all do the same things. Like women work on cars, men cook, men garden. Like it's just
It's crazy. That's seen more like a woman thing in California to have a garden, but I've always wanted to have my own garden.
It ain't hard, bro. I
Like
take it old school, get you an almanac, you good to go.
right. That's what I have an area set out in my house in Mississippi that I want to be for a garden. I want to have tomatoes, spinach. I want to because I always
right,
figured it was better living off the land than eating all of this
right.
bad food anyway. So it's like that's
When
never
I first saw that,
good.
men shouldn't garden. When I think I saw that somewhere on the internet, I'm like, what y'all like men don't garden like men don't garden in other places? Cause it's normal here.
Like you, like what? It's funny that people say that, and that's how I can tell like people don't go any place or research anything. Because like if you look at other countries and other cultures and stuff, like in Italy, men have olive fields and tomato fields and grape fields.
Exactly.
Like I know in Mexico, you got men and stuff like that who plant seeds, soybeans, and do other things. Like I know personally guys that I went to school with who were working in cotton fields and tobacco fields and stuff like that.
Right.
Like hell, my dad,
Right. Because
like
that just was like yesterday.
right. My dad used to work in the tobacco field and the cotton field, and even in high school, it was nothing and stuff like that. If you were a dude that lived in Snow Hill, like you were at working in the summertime in a tobacco field.
That's
Like
how my
Yeah.
that's how my dad grew up. Like it was not an option. Uh,
That's why I don't understand how that could be a thing.
right.
I don't know. I guess we just country and shit because like some of the things. Cause like some of like when I made the comment earlier and stuff like that, when Boonie interjected when about fathers and stuff, I what I'm saying is I notice and stuff like that. Like sometimes when people are easily influenced by people who don't know anything, they start to assimilate to that type of trait
Mm,
too as well. Like it's like to me, it's just a lack of ignorance. It's like it's ignorance to me.
That's also weird too. Like, why are you influenced by people that don't know stuff for real? Or
That
that don't
part.
know what they talking about?
Like down here, I had an issue going on with my car and stuff. I had to go to an auto parts store to grab a couple pieces for it. This young lady who was ringing me up saying, "You know what you're doing with a car?" I said, "Yeah." "Are you from here?" I said, "No." She said, "Do you want my number?" I said, "No."
I saw
Like it's like a lost art form to actually see men do work, and it's cool.
How?
I,
Well, outside of where we live,
right, that's what I'm saying. Like
because
Booney, check this out, and I'm speaking and Booney. Booney already knows if something was happening on the floor. Let me call my cousin. They know. Like we were surrounded by so many carpenters and people doing
right,
plumbing, HVAC, electrical work. Like
that is
like my family owns a hardware store. Like we're a black owned hardware store in South Carolina. I know some shit.
that's one
Like
thing
I
I'm glad about moving to the south of Mississippi where I live is people do a lot of stuff hands on. So like I
right,
had to learn I know whole lot more about plumbing now than I used to because calling somebody is not that much of an option. Here in
right,
California, we have, I'm not being racist, you can literally find a Mexican and they do a jack of all trades. They do everything. So people get spoiled. They don't have to
right,
do anything. So they're gonna just
well the one thing that I can speak on about that is this right here. In their country and stuff like that, they go immediately into the workforce at a young age, learning trades and skills because they have to support their families. So it's like so for them, it's a way of survival. Here, it's kind of almost like a necessity or something like that. But the one thing that I tell anybody that's trying to learn how to do something, let's go to fucking YouTube.
right.
YouTube will teach you how to build a damn car from scratch.
exactly.
The information is out there, but a lot of people just don't want to research it and then put in work to do it themselves.
Exactly. There was another post I saw where people were arguing about boys playing with Barbie dolls. And then well, my thing personally for it was it's like, what's the difference between a Barbie doll and an action figure?
Nothing except the long hair and
Exactly.
the prissy clothes.
I never cared about that, but it's a big debate amongst people what boys should do and what girls
Mhm.
should do. And I want to start with you, Brent, with this one. Do you feel like there's a certain things that boys should do and girls should do, or men should do, or women should do?
Well, you're talking to someone who had an assortment of action figures, and my sister had an assortment of doll babies. And I used to tear the heads off of her shit and burn them up and stuff like that all the time.
You was old boy off a Toy Story, weren't you?
Oh yeah, man. So I used to play like I literally had my sister's doll babies, holding them hostage, and had relationships with the doll babies and stuff because I was mimicking what I saw with the action films and stuff when I was a kid. 'Cause that's all I used to watch. But it seems to me it seems to be a lack of understanding amongst men, especially black men, when it comes to this hyper masculinity and stuff like that. Like I don't understand like why are you so quick to call someone gay? Like why are you quick to say this is feminine? And then it doesn't help when women play into the same bullshit. They do it too. Like if
Heterosexual women.
yeah, like for example, I like plants and all that type of stuff. Am I gay because I love plants? Am I gay because I love flowers and stuff? Like, it's just weird. And I don't and personally I just don't understand it. Like I'm still trying to figure out where did this take a turn for everything being called gay.
It been happening. It been happening.
Do you feel like it's a like certain things that men should do or women should do, Dooney? Like, do you feel like it's
No, I think everybody should know how to do everything because if you're a woman and like you taking care, you a stay-at-home mom and like something goes wrong, like and let's say your husband works on the road, like what are you gonna do if something goes wrong? If you don't know how to do it, you gonna wait, you gonna let that thing sit like that until he comes back?
a lot of people will? That was sit
Cause I
there.
was taught that if it goes something happens and ain't nobody around to help me, I do it myself. And honestly, didn't even really have to be taught. I'm just kind of like that. Like I feel like everybody should know how to do everything. Like you mean to tell me your husband is sitting at home, he gets off of work earlier than you, and he's sitting there waiting for you to come home and cook dinner? Like that makes no sense. It's counterproductive when you can already have it done when that person comes home and now y'all can eat at a decent time
Exactly.
and y'all can have a schedule. But that is also a thing too. Like there not being any organization because of it, because you have these things that are placed on one person. So it's hard to be organized. For instance, a lot of women who stay at home and maybe like they have kids and there's no like a routine or nothing like that because they have so much to do.
Right.
It's hard to do those things and to have a routine for your kids, and that could help with behavior problems and stuff like that when you got a routine set up, but it's hard to do that when you're one person. It's hard to do anything. So I don't think that there should be certain things that a man should do or a woman should do. I think we should all know how to do anything. If men play with doll babies, maybe they would stick around when you have babies.
Exactly. I think I hate the fact that women are the only ones that are seen as nurturers because it's a nature thing. You could find out if your child's a nurturer from a young age if you let them start taking care of things. Let
And
them
if
have
they're not,
yeah, maybe you shouldn't have a child. Maybe because you need to be the mother and father need to be nurturers. It's not just
exactly.
on the mom. I remember when I was in school, we had a class, a sewing class. I was so happy to learn how to sew. When people like, oh, you know how to sew? Yeah, I know how to do certain stuff. I don't need certain stuff to be done, but I really want to learn more. Like I know how to fix my own button. I know how to do.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal, but everybody wants to think just one way. If if kids were learning how to be nurturers, it'd be important. But like it was one thing I was thinking about where people were saying, would you trust a male babysitter? And everybody's like, no. And I said, why not?
Okay, see, my bad. You
Because
struck a
y'all
nerve.
don't let them play with doll babies. That's quite hard.
See, you struck a nerve with me with that question. Let me tell you why. I remember my nephews and stuff like that. I'm the go-to babysitter in the family. Like my cousin gave me a key to her house. I used to go pick her boys up from school because she was a single mother with two boys, rambunctious boys at that, a lot of testosterone. And she gave me a key to her house and I would bathe them and have them ready and stuff by the time she get home. This is when I was in college. Nobody ever questioned um me on none of that weirdo predatory type stuff that like people try to sexualize everything. And her girlfriend made the comment, "Oh, you let him do that?" And I just sat there and looked at her like she was getting ready to fight her in the yard. You know, everybody and stuff like that. Just because you've had bad experiences, don't push that shit off on everybody else. Because everybody's not looking at things like that. Like I saw, like it's just weird to me. And the more and more I'm on the internet, and I've changed that out my algorithm or what it is I view, I just see the chaos and stuff like that goes on in people's lives. Like, like there's no unification and harmony or anything. It's just complete chaos and confusion. And a lot of people, to me, are social agitators that like to keep shit going.
They
I
they
think
definitely do.
I think gender roles is comfortable because if we keep continue to perpetuate it and to push it, men don't have to learn how to do certain things and women don't have to learn how to do certain things. Everybody can just stay in their roles and not go outside of them. And I think that that's one of the reasons why they keep them up, they perpetuate them because it's comfortable to do that.
I think it really is. It comes down to comfortability. It makes me upset when I talk to people about the babysitter thing because I've always been very comfortable around kids, boys or girls. Like, well, men shouldn't be watching girls. Or like, why? I've got in an argument about somebody before where it's just like, oh, it was this post. It was stupid. It said, "Don't ever let your daughter sit in the man's lap." And I'm just like, so because you had a bad experience and somebody did something to you, that means that you want to mess it up for whatever girl that you have. Like I pride myself on being an example of how to have a proper relationship with a child and a man. I want to be that man in a lot of these child's lives where they can know you can be loved. I can love you. I can hug you. And there's boundaries still, like that. I teach
Yeah.
them that, okay, you do this,
But I think that's it. That's too, which I understand why people look at things like that because they would rather be careful than right, I guess you could say. But at the same time, if we didn't make it something that was uncomfortable, would we be having those issues as much as we do? Because I feel like when you make it a thing like uh men shouldn't have relationships with kids or they shouldn't do kids, you putting into people's mind that
Men are predators.
okay, or I'm a predator. This is how I'm supposed to look at kids. Like for instance, you say boys shouldn't wear pink, and you in the and his your son's favorite color is pink, and you telling him you a boy, you shouldn't like pink, and he thinking, well, am I a boy? Because I like pink, like I really like it. Like I feel like it prompts to have those thoughts, like you're making them think about stuff like that, and also when you don't make space to have these conversations and to normalize these things, it keeps
we
the predatory thing going,
we
honestly.
need to start having these uncomfortable conversations. We were talking about this earlier. We need to have these uncomfortable conversations. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, don't run away from it. Sit in it. Talk about
Exactly.
it. Because
I, yeah.
with these situations with these kids, if you're making them think this is the only way, so they grow up and thinking, okay, this is I can't believe that this man watching the babies. Like when it comes to me, I know how to do everything when it comes to a baby, everything,
Right.
changing diapers, everything. Like, oh, you know how to do. I know how to make a bottle. Oh, you don't need my help to do that. No, I'm fine. Baby, fine. And people like,
Especially,
oh, surprise, baby been with you all day. You good? Yeah, I'm fine. We fine. We chilling.
especially we got, especially we got to put that bottle on the stove and
And
that
you
hot
know,
water. You got to
and
check
if
the temperature, put them on.
they checking y'all like that, they need to do the same thing with the mamas. You need a break. Nobody gonna do that though, because that's your baby and you supposed to have that baby, and you shouldn't expect nobody else to watch them. But if you were doing the same thing, if you was balancing out those responsibilities when the mom is always with the baby, checking in on her to see if she need a break, or do you need me to get them? And also when the dad has the free time, give him the baby. That's his baby too. He need to have a, because I feel a lot of times like when it's like that, men don't have a personal relationship with their kids. Like, yeah, they know their kids. They talk about certain things with them and stuff like that. But a lot of the times when things happens to kids, who do they go to talk to most of the time?
Mama.
They go to mom most of the time because she's seen as the person that I'm supposed to get help from. Like, dad is always busy, which further perpetuates these gender roles, which keeps it going. And then, like I said, I feel like the reason why people are going to always be like this is because it's comfortable. Like, I don't have to do certain things. Like, if y'all don't want, if men ain't supposed to keep kids, I ain't never gotta have my kids and nobody questioning me about it.
We got to start opening up things too, though, and start teaching people from a young age, and these older men too. Like, you need to learn how to do, especially if you have kids. If you don't know how to do this stuff, and then everybody, like you see that the movies is funny and everything, where the dad gets left alone with the baby and he has to learn to do everything. You need to know how to do this already. Like, there's so many times with my sister has 8 kids. When I saw her, the babies, I'm coming in there picking the baby up. I'm not even asking most of the time because they're my nieces and nephews, so they're my babies too. So I pick them up. Okay, you good? Go do something else. Like, you get a break right now, and it's not. I have them all day. My newest born nephew out here, like, he been with you all day. You sure you good? Why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be?
I know my nephew, my niece and nephew. My nephew likes. I'm not gonna say he likes playing with dolls more, but like the way that he plays with them is a lot different from the way that she does. When she plays with her dolls, it's just hair. When he plays with the dolls, he's role playing. Baby got to sleep. I'm putting baby to sleep. I'm putting baby to bed. My baby's sleeping. I'm about to put my baby to bed and stuff like that. It's different. And I show mom like, look, you see, he more nurturing than her when it comes to these doll babies because she just want to do hair. She don't do none of the role playing or nothing like he do, and that was ever since he was little, like 1 years old, and we let him keep doing it.
He's a natural nurturer,
right? And we allow him to keep doing it.
Yeah, but I know exactly how you feel. Cause everybody be ready to dump their babies off of me. Everybody in the family want to dump their babies off of me, and it is just because, one, I love children, and children for me, especially like kids and stuff, they're like a natural, calming, soothing aspect for me. It's because of stuff like that. I just see their innocence, and they haven't been corrupted by the world just yet. They still have an innocence about them that should be cherished and and should be celebrated. But sometimes the stuff like that, unfortunately, evils of the world get the children at a very young age, and unfortunately, sometimes it happens with,
So sometimes it just be natural.
sometimes, yeah.
Evil. Sometimes kids be naturally evil.
Oh yeah, some
Naturally
people, yeah,
bad. And that
yeah,
goes into DNA a lot of the times because that stuff can be passed down into children through genes.
It was funny. I just watched the Chris Rock special last night. I don't know if you guys seen it yet. Did you like it? You liked it? I liked it too. People are hating on it, but there was one of the things where he was like, kids sometimes are just born assholes. And he talked about his daughter. She was like, she has a thing when she was little, she used to like to bite people. And she said, do you think that Mia and her mom walked around and told her to bite people? Or showed her bite? No, she just was a little asshole and she liked to bite people.
But he also went further in explaining how he basically saved her life. He saw the role, like he saw her trajectory and as an adult if he didn't nip it in the butt right then and there. Because like you said, he spoiled her. He provided her with such a luxury lifestyle that she was becoming into what it is he was talking about, an asshole. So he had no problem going to the school and stuff.
I was wondering if that story was true that he told about him calling the school and telling the school to kick her out.
I think so. I really do think so because it was a student that I taught. Well, I didn't teach him, but everybody taught him. And he was a beast on the football player. He was just a beast on the football field. But he had the most nastiest attitude that you ever want to see. And I remember his mom coming down to the school and begging somebody to kick him off the football team. Like begging to kick him
She
off the
could have
football.
just not let him play.
He wasn't listening to it. He was wild. He just started coming into his own. You know that old saying, smelling himself. I literally broke him and his dad fighting up. Like him and his dad literally got into a fight in front of the school. I broke up them fighting in front of the school. So that was a different animal right there. But sometimes we gotta do those hard things to save our children's lives.
uh I want to bring up, like, kind of go back to the kind of like men being vulnerable slash gender role thing a little bit. And I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, Tank had the interview where he was talking about uh getting his salad tossed. Now, I remember people was just like, "Oh, there is no straight way to get that done." And my thing has always been, the only thing that can be considered gay is having sex with the man. Anything that you do with the woman is straight. Anything. Whether she licking your
His
butt,
salad toss.
huh?
Oh, I thought you was talking. Go ahead. It was
Yeah.
another interview he did too that they was dragging him for.
What do you do? Whatever.
It was an interview where he was on lip service, if I'm not mistaken, and he was talking about. They was asking him men, if men, if he believed that I guess you could say I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna put a sexual identity on them. I'm gonna just say they asked him basically if like how women are bi-curious, women get to try women, and then if they don't like it, I'm straight. Like I like men anyway, but I like to dabble. But they was asking him if he think that a man could do the same thing. Like he's not gay, but he just tried it. And if they saw him as straight afterwards, and he said he said he didn't feel like it was gay just for a man. As a matter of fact, he said to give another man head, he just did it to try it out, he didn't think it was gay. And they was dragging him, oh, he must be gay to think like that, there's no way he can't be gay like that man gay.
Especially in the black community, this us. Well, one time you gay. I think I told y'all on the podcast I did a feature on, and it was pissing me off because they were like, "Oh yeah, your man in jail, and he had a dick in his mouth." Girl, how you feel about that? Every time you go in to kiss him, you gonna think about that dick he had in his mouth. I'm just like, why is it okay for women to do that,
I
but
don't
it's
give a
not
damn about
okay
no dicks in your mouth,
for
as long
men?
as
Issa Rae, Issa Rae did an episode of that on Insecure with her girlfriend. She was dating that guy that admitted to her that he had gotten oral sex from another dude, and she just had a complete meltdown behind that shit. And like my whole thing is like, if you curious about doing something like that, then that's what you want to do. Like it's on you. But I'm being honest, I ain't never thought about no shit like that. But to each his own. Everybody's free to make that decision for themselves, especially if you trying to find your sexual identity or what it is you like and what you don't like. You're free to do that. You have the right to do that. That's your choice. Who am I to hell? Who am I to sit back and judge you based off of that? It is what it is.
a heterosexual.
If you
I
say
think
so.
they're so quick to judge people like that, and like there's these huge debates on this is straight, this is gay, and it's frustrating to a point where it's just like, why can't gay just be gay and straight be straight? Why can't it's simple and plain,
Or sometimes it's not even that, because sometimes when girls be like that too, I think I like women. Nah, you just been let down by men. You
right?
ain't gay. If
She
you want
ain't
to date a woman or have sex with a woman to see, you are free to do that. But a lot of the times it don't be that big of a deal. It really don't. It don't be that big of a deal. Like if you wanted to have sex with a woman, doesn't mean that you're gay just because you wanted to do that. Sometimes it don't be that deep. You just did it. I feel
You
like
wanted to try something,
right. I feel like we're humans. Humans being human is basically they're not being labels for real, because you never know what you might be attracted to, and maybe at different points of your life, and maybe spur of the moment. Like you never know. I feel like you are with being humans, it could some things can just happen like that and it don't be that big of a deal.
I feel like, and people might feel the type of way about what I'm about to say. I've had experiences with all genders. Like, it doesn't make me one way or the other. I feel like
Exactly.
now, like I try to place myself in one category or the other, and now it's
Yeah.
just I like what I like.
Yeah,
That's
because
what it is. I
that's
like
how
who
it
I'm.
should be. That's how I feel too. But of course, pansexuality is what they place on it. I don't care about, like, I think a lot of people, I'm not even gonna just say heterosexual people, because there are gay people too who they have issues with bisexuality and pansexuality, stuff like that. But I just kind of feel like I don't like the label things either. I just really gravitate toward energy. And if I'm attracted to your energy, I'm attracted to you. It's that simple for me. But of course, when you talk about sexuality or whatever, the sexuality is a spectrum. And
Exactly.
when you talk about it, it's and you say, I'm not only attracted to men, people automatically, oh, you like women and men. That's not what I said. I didn't say that I was bisexual. I didn't say that I'm only attracted to men and women. I'm attracted to whoever I'm attracted to.
That's what it came down to me to now. At one point, I was like, do I have to uh identify as one or the other? And then I thought it was something wrong with me for a while because I grew up in the church saying, oh well, all of these thoughts, and I'm just like, you could pray it away. So there's a point in my life where I was just like, I'm gonna pray this out of me. I'm just like, and I was really trying. I'm
You
just
got
like,
you got some holy oil.
I was doing everything I could. I went to church and was like, pray on me. There was, oh Lord, I'm just like, no, it's not. It's not gonna.
It don't
And,
work like
and
that.
next time I get in that situation when I'm with somebody and I like this person, I find this person attractive all of a sudden, whether it be man, woman, trans, or whatever, is just like I'm thinking that something's wrong with me, but then now it's not something wrong with me. And my parents, even my dad got, we had a argument about it at one point because I told him, this is crazy because I haven't talked about this on any podcast yet. But I went to jail and I had my first experience with another man. Well, I had it before that actually, but like official. And I told my dad that I was gay at one point, and he said, "No, you're not." That was his response on the phone. Like he said, "No, you're not."
That's
I,
hard.
s-
That's
I
hard. Hard to follow.
and it's like I really like had to think about it. I was just like, "Okay, I'm not." And then I got out of jail, and then I met a trans person, and I had another experience. So I'm just like, I think I am. I started having to question myself, like, am I? Am I not? What was it with the? I think I'm attracted to people. I think I just
Exactly.
like
That's what I
people.
be saying too.
I
And
just
I say all the time, my parents ain't got nothing, and nobody. This is for my parents, anybody, whatever. The only thing you can do is accept me. You ain't got no choice but to do that. Because I ain't, number one, I'm not going to be talking about my sexuality with nobody. You don't get to disown me because you never owned me. Like this was never a thing. Understand, you just gave birth to me and took care of me, but you never owned me. So you don't get to disown me. And that's just how I feel with people. I remember I had a friend, I'm not going to go deep into it, that I think, I don't know what she identifies as, but she was dating women for a while and she was staying away from her family because of it. And I was talking to her one day and I was like, when the last time you've been home? And she was like, it's been a couple of years. And I'm like, why? And then she started telling me, and I'm like, girl, if you don't go home and see your mama and daddy, forget what they think, forget what you feel like they're gonna say. If you don't go home and see your mama and dad, they don't get to tell you that they don't accept you. They're your parents.
I remember I had a cousin, and he didn't come out until later on in life, but I knew it from when I was little. I knew it, and then he used to have what they called friends. Oh, that's his friend. I'm just like, that's the way that it's acceptable for Black people. And then everybody want to act shocked when it comes out. Be like, that was his friend. And it's like, he gay. He
The
came.
whole
That's
time they be talking about the
know that.
That remind me what Tyler Perry did Medea Homecoming, and the dude had that outing party. Everybody was like, motherfucker, we already knew that.
The way that Tyler Perry does anything about sexuality is terrible. And he needs to just stop talking about it in his stuff. It's terrible the way he do it.
I heard about the thing on Sisters where he did it with the guy.
Bro, that junk pissed me off so bad.
I'm lost now. So I don't know nothing about Sisters or nothing. I don't know what that is.
Well, it was a man on there. I didn't watch the whole thing, but you could probably explain it better. But
I watched most of it.
So what happened? Like, what was the guy and the girl situation?
So basically, she was dating somebody. He was raised by two men. So there were a lot of things that he did that they associated with being gay, like the type of underwear he wore. Also, him asking her to use a vibrator on him when they had sex. Sometimes I guess the way he talked, like his mannerisms, and he was a pretty boy, like well put together, stuff like that. So she kept going back and forth. I think he's gay. Is he gay? Is he not gay? Whatever. And he dragged it out so long. Like, she had the conversation with the dude. He told her, I'm not gay. Like, these are just things that I like. I'm not gay. She even got her gay friend to call another guy to test him to see if he was gay. She brought them all together. He invited his friend. They was at her house. They had like a dinner party and stuff. The other dude is flirting. And when he realized what's happening, he like, all right, now I'm about to mess with you. And like he started like playing into it or whatever. And he was making her uncomfortable and stuff like that. And then like at the end of it, they kind of had an argument or whatever. And I think he stopped talking to her too because she had such an issue with it. Like she just would not let it go. Like he would tell her I'm not gay, and then they would keep dating, and then he would do certain things and she would just keep going back and forth. It was like, bruh, we get it. This man is not gay. Let's move on. Why are we still stuck on this?
It's
and they
because
still doing it.
They're pandering to that sect of people who will not think outside the box. So no matter how much you say that you're not gay, if you don't do these things that check off these boxes that are manly, then they're not gonna accept you.
It didn't read well. It just did.
It looked horrible, especially
it was terrible.
Especially for a show. People are supposed to grow and learn. That's the whole thing about a TV show. Whether we realize it or not, characters were not the same from season 1 to season 10 in the show. Even from a show like Family Matters or Fresh Prince, they're not the same. So people are supposed to grow. But if these people are staying the same, it's just like it's bad writing.
Terrible writing.
It's just like this character hasn't had no character arc.
And then somebody was like, "Oh, he just using this to come out as gay." That was somebody said.
I mean, I was just sitting there listening to something because I already knew that about Boonie, learning something different about R.E.A.L, and I just have absolutely no comment. I realized this conversation is kind of like, wow, I'm learning about my co-host because I'm just being honest, never thought about it. Everything y'all saying never really applied to me, but
I would hope so because you're straight. It's not supposed to apply to you if you're straight.
Right. But what I'm saying is stuff like that. I have an open mind to actually have a dialogue and listen and learn something else. Whereas you got some men who are just so macho and stuff like that. They were ready to condemn people.
I had to start questioning myself with certain things. Like why do I like these things? Are like I can like football and basketball and also be okay with getting my feet done. Also be okay with like none of these things take me outside of being a man, but I have to accept that I'm not just a monolith. I'm not just one way of thinking. It's okay to do that. It's okay to be multifaceted.
Well, see, that's what I don't understand because I know I got thug ass homeboys from the country that go get their feet done. You know, some of them have actually done.
Somehow Thug and From the Country just sound crazy.
Hey, man, hey, they'll tell you in a minute. Hey, they'll tell you in a minute. Country thugging. I had a homeboy made a song called Country Thugging, but like I got a friend who did time just like how you did time, and he said that one of the first things that he did when he got out, he didn't want
Hmm.
sex, he didn't want food, he didn't want any of that. He said that he wanted to go get his feet done and his nails done and everything like that once he got out of jail, because he said walking on that nasty floor and stuff like that, it made him have a found new respect for taking care of himself with self grooming and everything like that. You know, he didn't realize what he had until he had to take it away from him. But I'm enjoying the podcast tonight, just listening to you and Boonies, because I'm learning something else new that I've never thought about. So it's cool to me.
Uh, one of my old podcasts, I did an interview with a a trans comedian, and I would like to have more trans people on the
Flame,
pod. Huh?
was it Flame Monroe?
No, her name was Sunny LaPrade.
I don't know. I don't know. The only
She
one I
actually,
know Flame and T.S. Madison. But I'm interested in the one you talk about, because Flame and
yeah,
Madison are hilarious as shit.
she's funny. She actually went to a comedy school, and for her thesis to get her degree, she had to do a stand up special. And one of the things she said is the world will be a better place. And I don't know 100% agree with it, but I think it's something to think about. She said if everybody experimented, all men experimented when they're in college, like women do, because they would be much more understanding of people's sexuality instead of just thinking that their way of thinking is the way of thinking. You know, like, and they say you don't have to be gay, but at least be open to it. Go to a gay bar, go to a gay party, go hang out with people who are gay, like or trans. Just put yourself in that community and figure out what makes you uncomfortable about it if it does make you uncomfortable.
Because they do be doing that. They do be experimenting. They just still be gay. They still be homophobic, transphobic.
Hmm. Like I
And a
remember.
lot of the times it's because they are unable to. I'm not saying that everybody, but a lot of them do. And a lot of times they be feeling some type of way because they're unable to be themselves.
Well, for me, like when you were talking about, like college is really what you know open my mind and stuff like that to the different personalities and the different sexual orientations of other people. Like I used to hear about download black men and stuff like that until I actually went to college. And my roommate was like that. And he was knocking down some guys on the football team. And it blew my mind that these guys and stuff like that were sneaking over to my dorm room. So
Your roommate was like what?
he was gay.
Oh,
No, he
I
was
thought you,
gay.
I thought you were saying he was down low.
No, the guys and stuff that were on the football team and stuff.
That's not something that I am okay with.
Yeah.
The being on the DL or whatever. Like
Oh yeah. He
But at
was
the
are,
like,
same time, I get it.
I understand why they do it, but
yeah, like I didn't know.
you're doing yourself a disservice, especially when you have to have the cover. Like I don't know if y'all seen the movie Cover,
I
where
love that.
they when they get
I
a
love,
wife or something, huh?
I love that movie.
Yeah, you got to get a wife or something, and you got to have all these secret codes and stuff. It's so much easier to live in your truth.
What's the name
You,
of the movie?
you got something
Cover.
in your eyes. Can I blow it out for you?
It's called Cover. It got Leon in it from
Yeah.
the Temptations and the Five Heartbeats.
Wait a minute, is that the dude? Well, okay, wait a minute. Is that the film and stuff like that when the wife comes home and see the guy in the shower, Leon in the shower or something?
Was it his wife that caught him?
Was it his wife? I haven't watched it in so long.
Bro, but you remember that part where that's the movie. But you remember that part with the
I don't
dude's
know.
wife, the light skinned dude's wife. She started having nervous breakdowns. I was like, because they was gay. Like she killed herself. She wanted to kill herself. The way she was acting, I was like, because they was gay.
I think the thing is though,
Like,
people start questioning themselves, and like
why?
because they want to uh did I drive you to that? That's the thing. Well, we
I
were
got
together
you.
all these years or whatever. Like I questioned myself a little bit with my ex-wife when I found out that she was. I was just like, it took me a while to get to a point where now it's just like that explains a lot. That explains a whole lot. You were not into me like that. You were into something else. So I'm like, all of these times where I'm, you know, like you Brent, you the one that shared that in the group, right? About the man having the chart for how many times the woman like it was like that
Like,
with
like when I saw it, the first thing popped in my mind is two things: either she gay or she just don't like you. Like those are the only two things.
Or she doesn't like sex. Not
Like,
everybody
that's what I'm
likes sex
saying.
the same.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like she doesn't like you or she's not into you or something like that. That's
Or sex.
yeah, it could be that. I get
Because that's not the same thing.
it.
Because it's not the same thing as not liking sex and not liking somebody is not the same thing.
exactly. But we need to stop saying that.
Because
It
people
is
can't wrap their minds around the fact that some people don't like sex.
Oh, I can.
some
I
people
got some
just
homegirls
don't
who
like it.
correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying it wrong, but I have a couple homegirls and stuff like that I'm still cool with. They are is it asexual?
Mm-hmm.
Is it asexual? I said it right. Okay, I know it looks something. Asexual.
We need
Had
to
to make
stop putting people in those boxes. Like, you know, well, that's the only
Right.
way you could show love to somebody when it's not.
Is when having sex.
And it's like it's okay. And then maybe you're not compatible with somebody like that, but that's okay too. But we need to be open enough to have the conversation. Like you said on that podcast where they were downing the girl for having a low sex drive.
Bro, that junk annoyed me so bad. And she was young. She was a 22-year-old girl, and they was telling her that she don't like the dude because she don't have the same sex drive as him. You don't like him because when I like somebody, all I want to do is have sex. That is you.
that's
Exactly.
peer
That
pressure.
means nothing.
That's the peer pressure shit right there, trying to force somebody into something they don't want to.
Or
It's
making
You know,
somebody feel like they're the problem because they was telling her, um, basically you don't like him, and then the dude was like, if you don't want to do it, you should let him have somebody else. And it's like, bro, y'all are giving her the wrong advice. She's young. She gonna listen to everything y'all saying.
I
but you
wish we had more of a conversation of people about sex drives and stuff like that and what you're into. But I want to see more men talk about being the low sex drive. A lot of times it's women that are seen as the only people that have low sex drive. There's a lot of men that are not into it just as much as y'all are, but they think that you got to do it. You know, like it's not okay.
Nobody should make the feel that they gotta have that. That's horrible, bro.
And I've been in those situations before where a girl literally got yelled at me because I said no. What's wrong with you? Man, I'm leaving. Take me home. I'm just like, we was just chilling though.
but I noticed and stuff like that. Like we were talking about the vulnerability, like we talk about the vulnerability of men. A lot of men don't want to be shamed. You know, a lot of them don't want to be, ridiculed and picked on and teased and stuff like that by their peers. And I noticed that to me, I'm just being honest, men and stuff like that who I've encountered that have embraced their sexuality, like you, Royal, and other guys and stuff that I've met and stuff like that amongst my journey in life. They're some of the most damn strongest men I ever met in my life. Because that takes real courage to come out and openly admit and say that, especially when society has deemed that as wrong. So, my hats off and stuff like that to any man and stuff like that,
But also, it should be normal and not be
Exactly.
seen as strong when you do it. Because I hate
well,
when people say that. I hate when people say that.
You know,
Like they say that to fat people. You're so confident. I wish I like stop it.
you know
for
what's
me,
go ahead, Brent.
no, I didn't cut you off, brother. Go ahead.
My daughter is trans. I have a daughter and she's trans. And one thing I asked her, because she was an assistant before I got her, she said
Mhm.
one of the most profound things I've ever heard. I asked her when did she come out? And tell everybody, she said, I never did come out. And she said, why do I need to come out?
Exactly.
She said, if you're straight, did you come out? Nobody comes out and says, hey, I'm straight.
Do you
Like,
think some? Do y'all think some people and stuff with that are not really are really just jumping on whatever social wave is fashionable at the time just for attention.
What you
Ooh,
mean?
Because I noticed that some people, like when Boonie was talking about earlier about, women and stuff like that, after they got done wrong by a man, they jump into a relationship with a woman thinking it's going to be better when they
I don't
realize.
think it's necessarily like jumping on like a social wave. I think it's really just I think when it comes to women doing that, it's more so like is they like lose faith basically, like it's never gonna work out with a man, so maybe I should be with a woman or what, and they're more likely to try it to see if that is better for them. So
have you
it's not
heard
necessarily.
Kendrick's song, Tammy song,
I think I did.
where he was like, what they gonna do when they get mad? They gonna fuck with other bitches when they tired of these niggas.
That's kind of like the natural response for women to do. They'll go talk to women because they feel like it's never going to happen with a man. And sometimes you come across a terrible guy, talk about narcissistic, and they take so much from you that you become afraid of men. So you date women because you feel like it's safer. So it's not necessarily because they're jumping on a trend. Sometimes they feel like that's the safe choice. I'm safer with a woman because I've been with a man and he did all of these things to me, and I'm afraid to be with a man like that or be vulnerable like that because it can happen again.
I got a question for you though when it comes to that, because do you feel like they already had that in them though before that?
No, I don't feel like that's always the case. But I feel like for whatever reason, whenever things like that happen to women, that's their natural response. Because like I said, it creates that fear. Like imagine going through a lot of stuff with somebody to the point that, for instance, being sexually assaulted by a guy and being afraid of being with a man again, so you date women because you feel like it's safer for you to do that. I feel like it's a trauma response sometimes.
Right.
I don't think it's necessarily being, following trends or whatever. I think people do it for different reasons. I think it's a trauma response sometimes because they feel like it's safer to be with a woman than it is to be with a man because of the things that they went through. Um, and there are people that I feel like be gay because it's the fun thing to do, but I think those people it's a small percentage of
Very
those.
small, and it's easy to
Very, very
weed those
small.
people out.
Exactly.
Do you think men do that too?
Mm,
Trauma responses from a man, like in
Yeah,
that way.
you mean
yeah,
as far as being molested by a woman or being sexually assaulted by a woman and they start dating men?
yeah. Do you think men do that too?
I think it can happen with both women and men.
Mm. I'm just asking, like,
I think
believe
it
me,
can. I
y'all.
feel like it's something
I'm being
that
honest,
people.
y'all really like you and real actually looking like kind of educating me on some stuff because I'm not a part of that, but I'm curious because I like knowledge and stuff like that, so I want to learn something different from somebody else. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, I
don't
feel
know.
like that's something that we don't ever. I've never heard nobody talk about that as a thing. Because we don't never go deep into sex and how going through a situation like that can psychologically mess with you. Like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me, yeah, I've been through something like that, but I always knew I always knew that I liked more than men. Always
yeah.
did. You can
Yeah.
ask. I talked to my not my first boyfriend, but one of my exes about it. I think he was like the first person that I openly talked about it to. And then my last relationship, but yeah.
I've
Mm-hmm.
been through a similar situation, and it didn't drive me to be the way I am. I've always been that way. Analyzing my
Right.
life when I was younger, I'm just like, I was never like, it wasn't something that triggered it in me. And that's
Right.
why I get bothered so much with this craziest conversation that's gone to way off the rails, but it's good because I like it.
It's
Um,
therapeutic.
how it triggers like somebody saying, "Oh well, the gayness on TV is going to trigger somebody to be gay."
That's not the case.
How, Sway?
Now stuff
How?
like that, that's not the case.
The amount of people that will want to try something because of that is infinitesimal compared to
Exactly.
it. And like I said, they will get easily weeded out. You want to go be gay? I reminded of the episode of American Dad where they had the gay neighbors, and then he was like, you saw the episode?
Yeah, I remember that episode.
And then he was like, gays being a choice. So he was like, I'm gonna go be gay. And he went over there and was just like kissed the man.
They
He
got
was
their
like,
scenes. I remember that episode.
he was just like, so what's supposed to happen now? Like you could just tell, like, so it's not a choice. Like
When they get down to it, you gonna
Yeah,
know.
yeah, like I've never been one of those people and stuff like that who always thought that being gay was a choice. Either you are or you're not. And I have ran across a couple guys and stuff incarcerated and stuff who openly, told me about them being, sexually assaulted when they were younger and stuff like that. And they started liking men because they thought that's what they were supposed to be with. Only later on down the road to realize that they actually like women. So it's kind of mixed, and it's kind of like it just mixed different reactions. Like I'm just learning something from you and real tonight.
I,
Because
I
really, I had
Yeah,
nothing to
yeah,
offer
but
this
like
podcast.
Royal said, that's rare.
I have nothing to offer this
Because
podcast.
I feel like a lot of people will be like, you not gay, or he think that, or his uncle did this to him, that's why he gay, stuff like that. That's not always the case. It's
Right, right.
very rare that happens.
Yeah, that's what I've come to the conclusion and stuff that about, as I've gotten older. But yeah, it's hey, do you?
that could be the furthest thing from the truth. You could be disgusted by it at that point.
Exactly.
And I feel like my father went through that, but it made him homophobic because
Mhm.
he was
That too,
assaulted
that could actually be the reason why a lot of men are like that.
because they think that everybody's like that. And when I was in jail, and they put me on a different unit because of that, and they it was so wrong because they put us by the sex offenders. And we got in an argument across the tier because it was like I don't know how the jails that you work at, Brent, but has it been like a pod where it was a circle and like it was like probably like 5 units in a circle like that, five
It,
different
it it varies. Like you in jail or prison.
jail.
Jail, it varies. It just varies from state to state, prison to prison. But I know I get the gist of what you're talking about. That 360, that
Y-
360.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
had one on our pod was here, and then the sex offenders pod was here, and they were shouting out stuff to us, and one of the other inmates with me was just like, fuck you, y'all the reason why we are the way we are. And
That's
I
what
started
y'all
I
been
started questioning it. I'm like, I didn't realize what he said until I got older. I'm like, oh, he must have been assaulted. So I'm like, there's two different responses to it,
Right.
several different
doing.
responses really, but there's
It's a lot of different
you
ones.
can either grow up and be so homophobic, especially if it's somebody that was the same sex as you that did it, or it could make you desire that because that's what you went through. Like somebody, they tell people, well, you liked it or whatever. You didn't understand what you liked at that point. You couldn't really
Yeah,
make a decision.
yeah, I remember. I forgot his name. He was a childhood actor from Good Times, and he was talking about being sexually assaulted and stuff like that by a man when he was younger and stuff like that, struggling with his sexual identity as he got older till he realized that that's not what he was into. But it's the vulnerability of men. It's, a lot of men are afraid to be vulnerable because it's like what I said earlier. They don't want to be shamed and ridiculed and ostracized and stuff like that about that. It's unfortunate that it happens and stuff, but because you even got some men and stuff like that who want to open up to their partner, whether it be a male or a female,
Oh, I need to talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
only to be afraid of that being thrown up in their face. Like
I was shocked that it wasn't thrown in my face.
yeah, I had a friend. This was in college. I haven't talked to him in years, but I remember he was having an issue, not with his sexuality, but he was struggling with his physical appearance. Like we were talking about fat shaming and stuff like that earlier. Like he was real struggling trying to lose weight, getting healthy and stuff. And his girlfriend at the time, she just bust out in front of a lot of people and said, "Fuck you, you fat ass, little dick ass, bitch ass, punk ass, want to kill yourself ass nigga." And yeah, she said that shit, and that to me and stuff like that, like when you take someone's secrets or someone opens up to you, not to get counseling from you, but they're showing their vulnerability, is wrong and sinful to me for you to throw that shit back up in someone's face. Because I notice when men open up to women, women get upset, throw it back in their face, and then when men get upset with women, they'll throw that shit back in their face. It's like, damn,
That is
okay,
that is toxic right there. That is
right,
Both
textbook
right,
ways to use it as a weapon. It's
that's
crazy.
textbook toxicity. When you get in those arguments, well, that's why your mama this, and that's why you like don't bring up somebody's trauma as
but why do you
a
think?
weapon.
Stuff like
Right,
that don't even come to
why
my
do you think?
mind
Right, but why do y'all think like people weaponize that against other people?
because they know it's gonna trigger them,
They
and they
want to
want to
trigger
hurt.
them.
They want to hurt them in the process of the argument, and they know what's going to trigger them, so they say it because they know that it's gonna work.
Yeah,
It's like a weapon of war, and they
And
use it.
that's why a lot of people are afraid. One thing I want to say is to people that do want to learn how to be vulnerable is to find your tribe, because some people will protect your feelings. People will have your back. These people, that anybody that does that, what you just said, like throw something in your face, is somebody that's not on your side, and that says a whole lot more about them than it does about you.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've been in relationships where people throw stuff in my face. Well, oh, you soft because you cry. Oh, I had to learn that I was questioning my vulnerability. Like, am I not a man because of this? What makes me a man then? It can I cry? Can I be emotional? Can I be in touch with my feelings? And I start having to break it down. And I told people this. I'm just like, the root of most anger is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Somebody hurts you, and then you growing up, well, especially boys, they grow up and, oh well, I'm gonna punch you instead, you hurt my feelings. Well, instead of saying you hurt my feelings, that pissed me off from this fight.
Right.
They,
Not just boys, because Boonie.
I ain't lying. Hell, Boonie ready to beat somebody ass on the last. I think it was a couple podcasts ago. Boonie ready to go to Louisiana, whoop somebody ass.
I grew up around boys. What can I say? That's what we did.
And for all the viewers, I'm gonna be honest. If you ever date a woman from Winsburg County, she swing off on you, you better just go ahead, square up, and try to run away. Ass, bro.
I
Don't
had
mean them country girl boys. Them boys there. I'm
one of
being real.
my old friends I talked about on the other podcast. He had a woman like that, was just straight abusive. Like, I would swear, I was standing at my door, me and him just talking, right? And we just talking, and then all of a sudden I seen him duck, and I seen a fist coming out of nowhere. It was his girl, and he ducked, and I'm just like, bro, I was talking to you. I did not see that coming. How did you see that coming? He said, he said, I just sensed her because I know how she is.
It's not funny, but dang.
I was just like, damn, I swear to God, it was like the Matrix. He was just like, and his fist was like, I was just like, damn, where did she come from? I didn't
He
even,
sensed it. God
he
dang.
sensed it. I was just like, what
Y'all
kind of
gotta get out
relationship
of them
y'all?
situations, bro. My uncle
That's
was in
why.
one of
But see,
those.
that's why I miss daytime talk shows like Tyra Banks. Like I miss shows like Tyra because Tyra covered a lot of this stuff that we're talking about. She talked about trans women on episode, um, polygamy, abusive women. Like I miss shows like that. Like we don't have a whole lot of TV and
No,
talk.
because now you go on a talk show and talk about women,
Right.
about to get canceled, especially black
Well,
women.
Oh yeah.
well, I don't, and what bothers me so much about that is why not can we have conversations? It seems like to me and stuff like that, anytime it's regulated towards black men or just men, period, nobody bats an eye. But the moment you talk about some of the things that should not be approved and stuff like that amongst women, it's a problem. Like domestic violence and stuff like that shouldn't be um fucking alluded to anybody because that shit is wrong. Both parties. I don't care if you're male or female. Like that shit is
I
wrong.
wish they would do more of that, but then the I don't know. I don't even know. I want to say the vast majority, but I think a very big portion of society would look at that man as less than because he was abused. It's just like, oh, what you mean she hits you, dog? Like you supposed to hit her back.
Like women can't beat men.
Yeah, like
I got a story about that.
Or some people just don't be violent. Like you can hit them, that don't mean they gonna hit you back. I'm not violent, but if you hit me, I ain't pulling no punches. But it's just some people that just not gonna fight, even if you hit them. And I think it's messed up to fight somebody because you could tell who gonna fight you back. And I think the reason why a lot of women do that to certain men, and I'm gonna use animated to talk about this.
And
I already know where I'm going, bro. But the reason why a lot of women do that to certain men because they know they're not gonna get hit back. Like Naruto. Like I saw Sakura used to hit Naruto so much, and that's why I don't like her. But she ain't never did that to Sasuke. Why? Because Sasuke would have killed her if she ever touched him.
We show it on TV so much though, where it's and it's people get so easily triggered if a man does it, but if a woman swings on, oh yeah, that's just her getting mad, bro.
No, she's just mad. Or I understand. I've been there before.
Like you see all of these social experiments. Like what would you do? Like you can see a woman. Like they did a social experiment where they had the woman literally arguing with the man and hitting him in public. Right? Nobody said anything. But as soon as the man was getting ready to hit her, then everybody want to come and play.
What's wrong with you, bro? That's a woman. Right. It's like
sometimes, because sometimes they gonna look at you get beat up by that nigga too. They ain't gonna jump in. They gonna walk right by.
Right.
Yeah. I think we've been desensitized, which I want to talk about another episode about desensitization. But I was
I can offer more on that one. This one.
Yeah, I was in a situation where I was at an apartment building and I heard this dude and his girl get into an argument. And my first instinct was to go over there and do something because it was getting physical, and I heard stuff break in, and I'm just like, but then another part of me was just like, should I jump into this?
Because they might end up jumping you.
Right. That's what I was questioning. Like I know this is
my mom used to tell me that all the time.
Let me
stop jumping into people's fights. If they start, they're gonna turn around and both of them gonna be fighting you.
I learned the best way to do something like that, especially if you're able to just go over there, is to distract both of them. If you wanted to stop,
right?
Just throw something like really awkward or something into there and be like, or something funny, and then you pull them apart from each other. But you just saying stop, and next thing you know is you getting beat up.
Both of them. Now y'all want to come together.
I got a lot of friends and stuff like that who, because I'm in law enforcement. I got a lot of friends and stuff like that. They said that of all the calls that they get, the most terrifying ones to walk into domestic violence. They didn't care if it was a male and a female or a male and a male. They said because the emotions are higher and you're not thinking. They said those were the most terrifying phone calls they would ever get. They said they didn't know how to approach that because it's been a lot of cops and a lot of people have got murdered, hostage situations and stuff like that behind that. Just recently, I think it was sometime last year, it was online, but this guy got into a literal argument with his child's mother at, I think, like a motel or something. And this guy took their baby and put a gun to their baby's head. Yeah. The video.
My brother, his baby mama was fighting, and I was not there. I blacked out. Cause I black out. I ain't gonna lie. I do. I blacked out. I heard it. I blacked out. I was like, bro, if he put his hands on that girl, because I grew up around seeing I hate that junk, but I tried to get the baby from them, but not even thinking she holding the baby because she know he not gonna hit her if she got the baby. So if I take her, that means, if she ain't got her protection or whatever. But at the same time, it's a baby, and that's what pissed me off.
Yeah, he took the He took the baby. The video was online actually. He took the baby, put a gun to the baby's head.
So
Sheriff's
where the
office
baby was at?
in his arms like this with a gun to the
Oh,
baby.
you saying the guy did that?
Yeah, the guy took the baby from the woman. They were having an argument about something, and he literally took this child, put a gun to this child's head. I think like the sheriff's office rolled up. It's all online. Y'all can pull up the video. And the cop pulled up and stuff like that, saw it was a baby. He said, "Fuck that! I'm not waiting for this man to kill his baby." And, he did what he had to do, ran to the baby and stuff. But I don't fool around with domestic violence and stuff. Like when I see that, like I remember me dating girls and stuff and argue with them, and sometimes it would get too serious and all of that. I've gotten to the point now in my life when I see the signs that this woman is aggressive and I just walk the fuck away and leave you completely alone. I don't want that in my life anymore. Like it's not worth the headache.
Sometimes people don't get to walk away though.
Yeah, and then we've been conditioned to think that that's how someone's supposed to show their love for you. That struggle love, that toxic love, no, that shit is not healthy. Shit is crazy.
I can't stay in a situation like that because if you beat me up, you better not go to sleep.
That's like the situation I told you about with
It ain't happening again.
with that guy and that girl where he moved a guy into their apartment, and I'm just like, and he just accepted it. Like
you did tell me that.
Yeah. And I started
rewind what?
So it was one of my friend's cousins, and she probably the craziest woman I know. She literally found another guy. She was with a guy already. They were together for some like couple of years. She moved another guy into their apartment, not poly or nothing like that. It was so awkward the first time we went over there to hang out, and I'm just like, I'm confused because the first time I met her, I'm like, this is her boyfriend, this is, and then she said next to, they really close. Is that somebody else, the cousin or whatever? I'm like, no, they really, really close. And then the boyfriend come out the room and was like, told y'all to turn the motherfucking air off, and went back in the room. And I'm just like, I had to ask him afterwards. His name was Frank. I said, Frank, what's going on with that situation, bro? Like I want him to get out of my house, but he won't. The guy was big. You could tell he's fresh out of jail and everything.
That's crazy.
I'm just like, he like, man, I'll pay you some money to get him out of my house or something. I'm just like, but at first I was like, I was gonna do it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do nothing if you can't do nothing for yourself.
Oh shit! That's the wildest shit I've ever heard. I know that's some.
Yes, I swear, I was like the whole time, just like she literally moved this dude from jail into her house. And
damn, and I thought my homegirl having both of her dudes buy each other sneakers was hardcore. They're different right there.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, and to the point where I'm just like, you got to do something yourself before I will. Exactly. I'm like, I can't do that because I don't care how much bigger you are than me. You got to go to sleep at some time, my nigga.
Exactly.
And we going to.
And then they go sleep peacefully because they done beat you up. They
Hey Roy, you been to jail. You know that's the best time to get a motherfucker.
What were you gonna say, Boonie?
I said they no, you cool. They be sleeping peacefully too because they don't think you gonna ever do nothing.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to tell them. Like, go up there and mop them up. Like, mop him up. Like,
not you instigating.
I'm telling them, like, at first I'm like, you could pay me. I was just like, I was younger.
On the show now, we can't promote
violence. I was a little greedy at first, and I was in that situation. Fight.
Yeah,
that's your house that you pay rent at, and by all means, fight in that situation.
Ain't no fight, nothing. Like if he like, wow, like
he could have called the police. He could have did a lot of things.
He could have did a whole lot, but he was just dealing with it.
She was bold. First of all, she had no respect.
Bold.
But a lot of women be knowing who they could do that stuff to, bro.
She's still with the dude.
They be scoping them out.
She's still with the guy.
I was telling Royal, like, they've been together. That nigga get out of jail. She was like, I got us a place.
You laughing, but the one thing that I've always asked any woman I've ever dated, have you dated or been with anybody that's been to jail or prison? Because it's just a different level of loyalty that I've never ever seen before.
Niggas that like that ex-boyfriend that been in prison would do anything for the girl that he would, because I got one in my pocket. But I would never do that like that to somebody. But I feel like most women do. They got that one boy that they got that one person that would do anything for them. And some of them gonna ask for it. I would never do that though. That's messed up.
I've been in so many
trifler.
situations though. I want to share one last story if we get out of here. I shared it with Boonie before, but I was with this girl and I fell in love with her, but it's crazy the story. You know which one I'm about to tell about the older girl. So I met her in the hospital, in the mental hospital, and I was homeless at the time. She told me that you can come sleep in my car when you get out if you need a place to stay. Like when I first started talking to her, I thought she was cute, and so I was flirting with her. Then I saw her get a visit and it was her boyfriend. So I'm like, oh, okay, no. I was always big on that. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna talk to you like that. So, but she was like, oh, you could be friends. You could sleep in my car. So I slept in her car. That I came late too because I was like, I didn't believe she was really gonna do it, but I had nowhere else to go. So I'm like, hey, can I come sleep in your car? She was like, come over here. My address is this. Come over here for real. So I came over, slept in her car. The first night I slept in her car, the boyfriend left for work at like 4 a.m. She came to the car and was like, get up, come in the house. She came in the house and we fooled around and everything. I was 19. She was like 28, 29.
Ooh.
Yeah. She took advantage of little boy me. It was a bunch of times too where it was like a regular schedule and it got so bad to one day. It's like it was every day. It was like I come
God damn.
Yeah, she had me on the schedule. And then so one day, her boyfriend is raining outside and her car window don't roll all the way down. And so he comes outside and says, come in the house. And I'm just like, okay. So I came in the house and they had what's that called? A studio. They had they had a studio. You know, so the bed, everything was in the same room. So I slept on the couch. Mind you, I'm sleeping on the couch. Their mattress is on the floor right here. So I'm right here. She's right here. He's right here. I'm on the couch. So I'm thinking, okay, there's no way that nothing's gonna happen. Boyfriend rolls over, watches the TV. She's literally fondling me while her boyfriend is right there. I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm not realizing how bad and disrespectful this is at the time. This girl, it gets crazier because she starts like having me do licks with her. I don't know if you know what a lick is, but we were doing what we call Walmart licks, which is back in the day you would return stuff with somebody with an ID and get money. You know, so they had a whole hustle and I didn't know about it. So the first time her and her aunt took me to Walmart, they was like, we just need your ID to get some money and to get the money back. I forgot my receipt or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I went in twice and they was like, okay, we can't do that no more. So now we got to find somebody else to do it for it. What do you mean? How much stuff you got to return from Walmart? Found out they were stealing stuff from Walmart. They returning it. So we were making money. So it ended up me and her be gone for weeks at a time, like getting hotel rooms with the money that we got. And one of the times we got a big score, and I was so mad because we got like $300. And I got so mad because she went and with her half of the money bought the boyfriend a ring. She said, I'm gonna go propose to him. Mind you, like me and her, we had spent so much time together. I'm like, I'm in love with her. I'm thinking she's finna leave her boyfriend for me. She like it's so much wild stuff that happened with between me and her. The boyfriend came home one day and said, I don't know if y'all heard of the phrase "padussy."
Yeah.
He came home and was like, it smells like padussy in here. And she's like, I don't know why it smells like that. I was just like, you wild. Like looking back, like she was really
Nah, she was playing a dangerous game.
And
he didn't know nothing was going on the whole
I
time.
don't know. I still don't know. I
That
think
makes zero sense.
And then finally, it was like something that he should have known, but he said something, and he was like, I was trying to talk to another girl after that, so I was like, I had another girl pick me up, and she got all jealous or whatever, and he was like, the green-eyed bandit, why you so jealous? Why you so jealous? And I had the girl pick me up, and then she got so mad at me, she kept calling me, like yelling at me, like this is back when I had the old Boost Mobile chirp. She kept chirping me, was like, where you at? What you doing? And I was just like, huh?
I thought about a 3-6 Mafia song. Let me chirp this fool.
So she kept chirping me, and finally I was just like, tell him. I said, that's the only way you're gonna ever see me again. I said, tell him. And she did, and I heard him on the phone. I'm gonna kill that mother. I'm gonna kill.
What he thought you was, like her like nephew or something,
He
because
said
you were
I was
young.
a friend that I met in the house. I think he thought I was not a threat because I was so young. I still look like a kid.
Nah.
Actually, why was he okay with her hanging with you?
Right. Bro,
Even if it wasn't nothing sexual, like, why was he okay with that? She ain't no relative.
Looking back, I'm like,
that's a cuckold. I'm sorry. I think they run a game try to use you to steal shit and stuff like that. I don't know.
No, I don't know. Years later, he hit me up on Facebook and was like, "What's up, bro?"
Yeah. Either he didn't rap too tight or something.
It had to be. And then like, it's crazy. Another part of this story I'm gonna share. I'm not talking a lot, y'all, but I ain't never shared this story.
Hell, I want to see the book. You almost done.
So, like a year after that, I got with another girl, right? Her and I got together. I was living with her. Then I had went to Kentucky for like a few months, got stuck out there, which is another crazy story. I came back and she said she had moved. She said she had moved to a whole nother street. So I was like, oh, okay. So I go to that, I come back to see her. Guess who lives right across the way from her in her apartment building? That girl. The girl and that dude, they were together right across the way from the apartment with my the current girlfriend I was with at the time, right across the way. And then she would see me and start waving and stuff, and I'm just like, mind you, me and the girl that I was but at the time we weren't officially together. You know, I found out the hard way that wasn't officially my girlfriend. You know, like she was using me basically too. So I'm like, I felt bad at first, but I'm like, she's using me. Like she had another dude come over and everything and lock the door and lock me out and everything. It was crazy, but so.
And you were still young.
I was 19 still at the time.
Dang, bro.
So and this girl was 28 too. So I'm like, what's wrong with me getting with these older girls?
Ain't nothing wrong with you. Something was wrong with them.
And I'm accepting it like a dummy, like going along.
Because you were young. You were young. You didn't know better.
So one day, boyfriend left. And I'm still pretty homeless at the time, but I'm kind of low key staying with this girl. And so I'm going to Panhandle, and girl see me. The old girl across the way sees me and was just like, and I was like, okay. And then she was like, what you about to go do? I said, I'm about to go Panhandle so I could eat some food today. She's like, I got some money for you.
Bro, you must have been a nigga. Having sex with you.
Oh, bro. I was just wilding, and I still remember. I'm not trying to like brag on myself at all or say anything else. She was paying me to give her services, and then one time when I didn't know what was happening though. I didn't understand it. She was just like, she was giving me money, come over. It wasn't like explicitly said that she could do something, but she said, come over here, let's have some fun and I'll give you some money. And I was like, okay, sure.
That's it.
And one last part I'm gonna say is I felt so funny. Like, I think what made me realize it is she went in the bathroom afterwards one time and was smoking a cigarette. And she was like, "Ooh, that boy do something to me." And then, like, I swear to God, she was talking to herself. And I'm just like, hey, I'm about to go. She was like, yeah, the money right there on the counter.
$40. She left $40 on the next thing.
Bro.
Oh, shit. The motherfucker had a Ray Charles moment.
Oh wow, it was crazy, yo. Like I've been in some situations in my life. Yeah.
See how I say you can't spoil nothing for me? You can tell me that story a million times and I won't know what's coming next. I ain't gonna know what's coming next.
Yeah, it's still crazy to me that it even happened, and that girl was something else.
But
They was definitely preying on you. That was messed up.
you survived though.
Yeah,
Cause that shit.
I mean, it could have really went left.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking back to now, like me being
But that man, there ain't even no excuse for that,
that's
bro.
what I'm thinking about. Like me being a married man right now, if she were to bring a person in the house like that, I'm questioning every fucking thing.
Right.
And it's like, what you exactly? Who is this?
And now he'll come into the class episode, come inside.
Like coming? What you mean?
Mm-mm.
And like I'm being cool with them. I actually cleaned up their whole house and everything. And he's like, he paid me money to clean up the house and stuff. I'm like,
boy, you the sex.
He probably was like, I ain't care about having sex with her. He can go ahead. That how it be sometimes.
Boy, been a damn sex slave. I did not realize that shit.
That is what it was, but not a slave because he was getting paid.
like, man, I wish I could go back and slap the shit out of myself. Like, get out of this situation.
Bro, you were young though.
Though. You survived though. That's all
it's just I got a story to tell. Like when I say to people like, "Oh, what you gonna talk about in your book?" I gotta been through some stuff, bro.
You got some funny stories, but at the same time,
yeah. When the pre-copy of the book, so I can get an autographed copy, so I go and send you the money for it. I'm ready to buy the damn book.
This just a little bit of the story. This so much more.
I can see myself reading the book now. Sir, what are you reading? It's a black.
And you know what? Through hearing the stuff that has happened to you in real life, I believe that Joe be accidentally killing them people for real. On you. It do be happening by accident.
I didn't try to. Ooh.
It be happening by accident.
Boonie Part 2 come out today, don't it?
For real, I don't know. The 6th, yeah, I think so. Yeah, we gotta go watch that.
Oh, yeah, facts.
I'm so lost right now.
You, the TV show on Netflix. Have you watched it?
It's a TV show on Netflix called You.
I haven't watched it. I've been working a lot, but I was Roy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I was no service to you in this episode.
You were great, bro. You were great.
No, I wasn't. I was like, okay, they talking about shit I don't know nothing about right now.
This has been like, I think the original title was gonna be like, I want to dive more into the topic, but we can probably do that another time. Like this would be like a freestyle episode. It flowed well. It's a good conversation. We talked about some stuff that people need to hear.
Gender roles, sex slaves.
Yeah, gender roles, sex slaves.
Right.
Well, it's been another episode of the R.E.A.L podcast. It's been fun. Thank you, Boonie, for coming on. Thank you, Brent, for coming on.
Well,
I've said some things I've never said before on the podcast.
Shit, I want an autographed copy of the book. I'm ready for it. I want to read the book now.
But if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Go subscribe to the Social Cycle podcast right now. Go do it right now. A video is going to be on my right side, right here for the Social Cycle podcast in just a couple of seconds.
You got to teach me how to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be right here, just a couple of seconds. Probably like, over there, probably like right above Boonie's head a little bit. But if you're watching this or you listen to this on Amazon Music or Spotify, give us a like. Let us climb up the ranks. Really appreciate it. Also, it's on Amazon and Spotify at 8 o'clock in the morning on Fridays, 8 o'clock Pacific. That means 11 o'clock Eastern. So y'all can get it early. So run the numbers up for me, y'all. And I love each and every one of y'all that watch this. Peace.
Yeah, don't get in the car with strangers.
Bye.
One of my many symptoms. Help me. Somebody help. Damn. Thinking I just might die tonight, and I ain't got no guiding light. Things getting dark like I'm losing sight. Wanna give up, but I'm trying to fight.